All right, guys, follow me. Today I'm going to show you how we're going to go ahead and approach Father Wolf's drum tracking. So we're going to go ahead and go overview of what mics we're going to use, how we're going to approach using the room, and then how we're going to take it all into Pro Tools. So today, for our drum overheads, we're going to use the Warm Audio WA87s. For me, these are amazing overheads. Why? Because they're very balanced, guys. These microphones do a good job of keeping the frequency spectrum very flat. For our snare, we're going with the studio standard Shure SM57. You cannot go wrong with this for snare. We use it pretty much all the time. We'll also be using a Shure SM57 for the bottom snare as well. Okay, so we're going to mic the bottom. For our kick drum, we're going to be using the AKG D112. This is another studio standard. You cannot go wrong with this microphone. I suggest that every studio buy one, okay? You can't go wrong with this one. For our toms, we're going to go with the Sennheiser MD421. Amazing mic. Terrible microphone clip. This is one of the worst clips ever made in for microphones. Every studio owner knows. So what we're probably going to end up doing is once we position this microphone, we're going to wrap it with tape to avoid from detaching the microphone, because we have dropped these fucking things more times than we can count. Amazing mic, very durable, horrible mic clip. But yeah, so we're going to be using these for our toms. For our room mics, we're going to experiment with these Rode small condenser mics. Typically, we use large condensers for room mics. However, today, I want to use these Rode mics and I want to experiment with them. So if they don't work, we'll just go ahead and go with our pair of large condensers, but we're going to try these out. I want to try these out. Yamaha Subkick. It's a classic. I believe they don't make it anymore. However, this microphone paired with the AKG will give you that kick to the chest that you're looking for, especially because we're doing a metal sound today. This microphone does a good job of picking up the sounds that you can't hear, but you feel, okay? On its own, sounds terrible, but when you pair it with a microphone, with a kick drum microphone like a D112, you can really feel it in the recording. For our room mic, for our mono room mic, we're going with the Warm Audio WA47. Another well-balanced microphone. This microphone tends to color the sound a lot, so we have to experiment with how high and how far we're going to position it from the drum kit. A lot of times we'll position this microphone close to the floor to pick up those low end frequencies that the other microphones are picking up. However, it depends per situation, per drummer, per position in the room. So we'll experiment with the mono mic, okay? With a room mono mic, you're trying to find the balance between the shells of the kit and the cymbals. Remember, drums and cymbals, they're two different things, and cymbals tend to cloud the shells a lot, especially if your drummer is very heavy-handed. Having a good room mic, finding the perfect spot will sometimes you have to lower it to the floor to get more shell than cymbals. Sometimes that's a good balance when you're mixing, okay? So we're going to use this for our room mono room mic, okay? WA47 Warm Audio. For today's position, in our room, we chose this spot. Typically, for this recording, we are going for a clear with a good amount of low end, not too much. That's why we chose this spot. For metal, the speeds tend to be up there in terms of BPM, so we don't want the low end clouding the mix. So we wanted a good balance, which is why we chose this particular spot. It gives us enough room to move the kit in a corner, and we have enough room to experiment with surrounding the kit with a bunch of room mics that we can use for, balancing tones later when we're mixing. Okay, so that's why we chose this spot. So follow me into the control room. Okay, so we'll take all that. We're going to take it into Pro Tools. Then here's a quick glimpse of the preamps we're going to use. So for the kick and snare, we're going to use the Warm Audio 273. It's based on the Neve 473. Amazing tone. For me, this is one of our go-to preamps all the time. for the most prominent elements in the mix. So we always use this one. Okay. We'll then be taking the shells into the WA412. So this will handle all the shells and also the overheads. Okay. Then finally, one of my favorite preamps is the solid state Logic Pure Drive Octo. Okay, so for those of you who are looking for great preamps that sound amazing and are priced at a level where they're not too cheap, but they're not too expensive, they're affordable, go with the SSL Pure Octo Drive. This thing is amazing. Okay, so we'll use all the other elements of the microphones covering the kit. We'll go ahead and run them through the Pure Drive. This one, when you drive it right here with the gain knob, you can get a lot of good saturated tones. Okay, but you have to be careful because it's very sensitive. But the color that comes out of this preamp makes for great recordings. So we just wanted to give you an overview of how we're going to approach recording drums for Father Wolf.
We just finished wrapping up Father Wolf drum session. So just wanted to go over a couple of things that we did with the drums. So we ended up switching out the Sennheiser 421s for the Shure Beta 98s. So this gave us a better sound with what we were trying to go for. So we were experimenting a little bit. It sounded a lot better in the progress that we were trying to go with, the overall tone. We also went ahead and we experimented with the overheads. So we ended up going a little bit closer to get more of the natural sound of the kit. So it ended up working out in our favor. So that was definitely something that we were excited with, and the overall sound was awesome. So we have Adrian here from Father Wolf. We wanted to give him a chance to let you all know what the breakdown of his kit is, give you some specs, and what he's rolling with. So if you want to take it over, Adrian, kind of just break down the kit, what you're working with, and just give us a little bit more of a breakdown.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you, John. So, yes, currently I'm playing a SJC kit, super cool drums. The specs on these, this is a 24 kick by 18. We have our toms here are 14 inch by, I believe it's a 10. And then we have the floor tom, which is an 18 inch wide. Really big drums, really big sound. I love the way they sound. My snare, it's a regular 14 by 6.5, and this is a hybrid. So we have the maple along with acrylic. And for the heads for the recording today, I went ahead and got the hydraulic heads for all three drums: the snare, the toms, and then we have the EMAT on the kick. For the cymbals, I really like the K series, the Sweet Rides, anything pretty much sweet. I have the Sweet Crashes right here. That's a 19 inch. We have a 21 inch ride, and we have a 17 right here. K Sweet Crash. I'm sorry. And then we have the 15 inch Sweet hi-hats. My hardware, it's all DW, and a couple of the cymbal stands are just regular Ludwigs, I believe. And then, also the China. The China's a 17-inch China, and it's a regular just K Siljan. It sounds really good. Breaks through all the loud sound of the kit. So it's just 1-in-8 really. I don't know why. Like I think bigger drums for our sound. It's a better fit for it. Smaller drums, they sound great. They're just not as loud. But other than that, I mean, everything seems to fit pretty good with the sound that we have. We like to play loud. We like to play fast. We like to be as raw as possible. So it really helps out to have a good drum set, like SJC.
Yeah, awesome, dude. Thank you so much. And it's a massive kit. So if you guys see it in the videos, it doesn't do any justice. Those toms are massive. So like he was saying, it's a 14-inch tom. That's a traditional size of the snare drum. The floor tom he has is a small jazz drum kick drum. So they're massive, man. So any last words? Anything that you're planning on adding, or are you satisfied with your setup right now? What's the plan?
Actually, I probably want to add maybe like a little 10-inch, 12-inch little splash or something like that. our sound is very loud. So I think a smaller kind of cymbal wouldn't really be as loud. But it's always cool and fun to have something extra. Other than that, I mean, I love this kit. I think it's perfect for what we need for our sound, and couldn't be happier actually. I think I'm gonna keep this kit for a really long time. And if I ever do get another kit, it's probably gonna be similar sizes. Another 24 kick and another 18 or maybe a 13 tom. I do like to have a little bit smaller size of a snare, maybe a 13-inch, a 13x7 or whatnot. But other than that, I mean, this thing rips, man, and it does the job. It's really, really good. And I just really want to say thank you to both of you, John and Hex. We just tracked, some really cool songs that we hope everybody likes, and coming up soon, So it's stay tuned.
Yeah, man. So again, thank you guys for tuning into this episode. So that was the breakdown for drums with Father Wolf today. So just make sure to keep in touch for our next episode.
Thanks, guys.